Welcome to Tanya Outside In, chapter 21, Kaf Aleph. So we've said over and over that these seven chapters from Yud Ches until Kaf Hey are, is that seven or eight? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Eight chapters are all one shlav, but that one shlav breaks down into three shlavim. So chapter 18 and 19 is talking about the essence of the Jewish soul. Chapters 20, 21, 22 are defining Yichud Hashem. And then chapters 23 is about mitzvahs, and chapters 24 is about Averas, and chapter 25 is more like about Rishus, Shalom Laser. So we're right in the thick of understanding Yichud Hashem. And we've got a lot of Mashalim, and he's going vital. These are very philosophical classes, very philosophical chapters. I highly recommend a book called The Nature of Consciousness by Rupert Spira if you are interested in Yichud Hashem, if that's a topic that interests you. It's a Goyish book, but it's with breathtaking clarity, fantastic mashalim, very kosher, really a special, a very put together guy who's very articulate. So it's called The Nature of Consciousness by Rupert Spira, and you can Google him anyway. He's got lots of stuff on YouTube. Very put together guy. Good, gives big hasagas in Yichud Hashem. Okay, so chapter Kaf, we introduced the the idea of the world being created through Hashem's Dibur, and we compared one word that you speak to who you actually are. And we were mevatel it a few different times over. We said that one word that you speak compared to all the words you could speak is already bottled. There's no comparison between one word that you speak and the fact and your ability to speak. Then we said, and then your ability to speak, which is called oisius gasus, is incomparable to your ability to think, which is called oisius dakos. Yeah, so that's also a bittul. Then we've got the bittul from your thinking to the koiches and nefesh, which are without words. Let's talk like your midas, your seichel, whatever beyond words, especially your ratzon, where again, so the ability to think now, which is in letters and words, that is completely nullified to who you actually are, which is beyond words. And that is, and then, so now when we compare the one word of creation to the actual essence of God, just like one word that you speak compared to who you really are is completely null and void, all the more so, one word that Hashem speaks compared to who he is completely, it's non-existent, meaning it's not something other than him. There is nothing other. And I think we said last week that's why we refer to who you really are without name. That we just call that you. That's Atah. That's the Heiligkeit that Rav Hass says. Rav Hass says to me all the time that the difference between the Yidden and the Umoisa Olam is the word Atah. We have the word Atah, and they don't. Which sounds weird because they do, but they don't. The Atah refers to, anybody remembers in the Kabbalistic jargon what Atah refers to? Atah is Ze'ampin. Atah is the personality. Well, it's really it's actually that's not correct what I said. Atah is talking about Hashem himself, but through the persona or the personality of Ze'ampin, which is called the Torah, which is the Kodesh Baruch Hu. So just like when I say to you Atah, you need to be in front of me. I can't call you you without your body in front of me. And if your body is there asleep, I also can't say you. So there needs to be your body, there needs to be your personality, your consciousness, whatever you want to call that. And that is all layers on top of the you. You with me? So in the picture of the world, in the way that's so you've got your clothes, which are separate from you. They're not you. Then you've got your body that your clothes cover, which is is it you? Is it not you? It's you, it's not you. You know, a person can lose a hand, but he has a hand. He isn't a hand, but he has a hand. So in that sense, it's not you, but it's you. Yeah, that's why mashalim are so helpful because you can't really describe it, but that's what it is. It's like the body, it's you and it isn't you at the same time. Okay, but then what about the personality? That's much more you. But again, we say that you have a personality. Lav dafka, you are the personality. You have a personality, and then there's you. That you can't talk about. There's nothing to say about that. So we've got these four layers. We've got the clothing, we've got the body, we've got the personality, and then we've got the person. And that's exactly how it breaks down with the Bohen Sholem as well. Or I should say, that's how it is by the Bohen Sholem, and therefore that's how it is by us also. So what's the Bohen Sholem's garments, his clothes? God's clothes are called this world. The physicality of this world is called God's clothing. So yeah, we could say that God is one and there's nothing other than God, and that's all true. But we have to relate to this world as something external to Hashem. Okay, it's his clothing. So his clothing is the physicality of this world. Yeah, then so what's his body? His body are the mitzvahs. They're the physical acts that engage this world. So they are underneath the clothing of this world. So you take a lulav and esrog, yeah, the meat of the fruit, the chomer, the gashmias, how's the chomer? The material, not the material, the physicality of the lulav and esrog. Well, that's this world. That's his garments. But when you put them together on Sukkot as a Jew and you shake them, whatever you do with them, that is now the mitzvah becoming enclosed within this world. That's the body of Hashem enclosed within this world, the Maisa Mitzvah, the abstract concept of the Maisa Mitzvah, because you've still got the physicality of the world, the actual fruit of the esrog and the leaves of the lulav. That's the physicality of this world. So the abstract concept of the Maisa Mitzvah becomes melubash in them. That's the body of God. So is that God? Well, it's pretty close. Yeah, that's called the Ivin Demalka, the limbs of the king. That's why there's 613 mitzvahs, just like you've got 248 limbs and 365 arteries, sinews, whatever you call them. Yeah. Shasa Ramach Evarim and Shasa Gidim. Yeah, so that's the 365, that's the 365 prohibitions and the 248 positive commandments. That makes up the 306, that makes up the 613 mitzvahs, and that's why we're composed of 613 our goof. So the mitzvahs are the goof of Hashem. So what's the personality? What's his personality which goes beyond the goof? What's enclosed within the mitzvah? If you've got the mitzvah is enclosed within the physicality of the world, then what's enclosed within the mitzvah? That's the Torah Kedosha. The Torah, the halachas of the of lulav and esrog are what create, so to speak, the concept of the Maisa of lulav and esrog. And the concept of the Maisa of lulav and esrog becomes enclosed within the physicality of the world. So you've got the physicality of the world is the external level. Then you've got inside that is you've got the Maisa mitzvah. Then inside that you've got the Torah. That's, so to speak, Hashem's personality. That's called Ze'ampin. And inside that, you have him himself, B'chvoid Atzmai. So in Kabbalah jargon, you could call that Bia, Bria Yetzira Asiya. That would be the Chetzonius. Yeah, Bria Yetzira Asiya. That's called Bia. Then you've got Malchus or Nuk, Nekeva. Then you've got Ze'ampin, and then you've got Abba Ima Aruch and Ein Sof. Just call that Ein Sof. You got the breakdown. So you can look at it as yourself. It's very easy when you look at yourself. You've got your clothing, you've got your goof, you've got your personality, and then there's you. That's exactly how it is. So we've got the physicality of the world, mitzvahs, Torah, and the Rebbeinu Shalom. Um, so when we're talking about the, we're not saying that the world in the Bechina we're talking about here. I know we just said we should look at the world as something separate from Hashem, but in this Bechina here, the world is not something separate from Hashem. It's just the furthest most outer garment of Hashem. Okay, so Per Kaf Aleph. V'nei midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu sheloi k'midas basav adam. What's relevant to Hashem it's not like, I don't know how to translate that, midas, the attributes of Hashem are not like the attributes of human beings. Sha'adam k'shemadaber dibo, when a mensch speaks, k'shemadaber dibo, hare hevel hadibo shebefiv, humugash v'nira davar b'fnei atzmoi, muvdal meshorshoi. When he speaks, the breath of his mouth comes out of his mouth, becomes separated from the man himself, and becomes something unto itself. Davar bifnei atzmoi, muvdal meshorshoi, separated from its source. Shein eser bechinas a nefesh atzma, which is the 10 powers of the soul which spoke it. That's the person itself. Yeah, whatever. Aval, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ein diburoi muvdal mimenu yizbarach chas v'shalom. But the way it works with Hashem is his speech does not become separated from him. Ki ein davar chutz mimenu. There's nothing outside of him. V'leis asa panu menei. And there's no space void of him. L'chein ein dibur yizbarach b'dibureinu chas v'shalom. And therefore his speech is not like our speech. Whereas our speech becomes separated from us, his speech remains fused within him. Kamoisha ein machshavasa machshavosenu, kilo machshavosai machshavosechem. As it says, we say in Hallel and Tilim that my machshav is not like your machshav. Ki gavrehu darkem darchehem, and my ways are higher than your ways. But loinik. So now the question is, well, why is it called Dibor? If it's not like our Dibor, why do we call it Hashem's Dibor? Dibor Yizbrach b'shem Dibor rak al derech moshel. So he answers the question. It's just al derech moshel. Yeah, k'mo shedibor shedibor hatachtoin sheba adam hu megala l'shoymim ma'asha hayat safon v'nelam b'machshavasoi. These are some of the most important words in Tanya. It's called Dibor. It's not the same as our Dibor, his Hashem's Dibor. Yeah, what it is though is the reason why it's called Dibor is because the concept of Dibor is consistent. What is Dibor? Dibor, the Rebbe says in a couple of words, few words. Shadibor talks about Adam who. What is it? Megala shoyme mashahayat safan v'nelam b'machshavasoi. It reveals to the ones who are listening what is concealed and hidden within your thoughts. That's what speech is. Speech is revealing to another what I'm thinking. Kach lemala be'ein sof baruch hu is also the same with Hashem. Yetzias ha'or v'achias mimeni yisbrach, the outward expression of the light and his life force from him yisbrach, me'ahelem al-gilui, liboy oilamas l'chayoisam, to create from concealment to revelation, to create worlds and to give them life. Nikru b'shem dibor. That's called dibor. Yeah, the creative force is called Dibor. The creative force and process is called Dibor. And that is the 10 utterances with which the world was created. I don't really know what this means, but that's the same as with the speech of the words of the Nevi'im of the Torah. It's not just the Aseret Dibros; it's also the entire Torah. Okay. All right. Dibur machshavaso kivyochol miyuchados imoy betachlis hayichud derech moshul. כמו דיבר במחשבה של האדם באודם בכוח חוכמתו ושכלו, או בתשוקה וחמדה שבליבו, קודם שאוס מהלב למוח להה בו בבחינת אויסיאס. The Dibor, Hashem's Dibor and thoughts are bound up in him. Well, let's work backwards. Where you just said it is, how does the process of speech work? You see a piece of cake on the table, yeah? It enters into your consciousness. At that point, you're just aware of the cake. And you're aware that the cake is cake and not money or not plastic. It's a cake and it looks yummy. That's the initial that's its initial presentation to your being. Okay. Now, because it's a cake and it looks yummy, yeah. Now, what is generated is a rotson to eat the cake. That's a further level away. The first most essential level is the cake just presents itself to you, and there's just silence. There was just you. Now there's you and the cake. Now that it's not a thought, that's well beyond thought. That's a awareness, whatever you want to call it. Now that becomes a desire to eat the cake. Now that desire turns into a thought, becomes enclosed in letters, and starts saying, there's now a voice in your mind saying, wow, I'd like to eat that cake. That cake looks really delicious. I would like to eat that cake. And now you turn around in this scenario, just to keep the moshel consistent, you turn around to somebody and say, could you please pass me the cake? So how far is the actual words from you? There was initially you, then the cake enters into your consciousness, then that turns into a rotson, then that is converted. You could say that goes into an emotion, but let's just keep it simple. Then that turns into a machshava, then that turns into a dibor, and the dibor goes out of your mouth. So the Rebbe just said here that dibor is still fused in the essence of God. See, when you see the cake and the cake presents itself to your consciousness, the word is still coming from you. It's like it's like that. That's why you are called At or Ata, Aleph to Taf, because all of the letters come from you. Without the singular unified you, there would be no speech. So the multiplicity of the 22 letters come out from the essence of who you are, but in a human being, they actually come out and they go out and they leave you. Whereas in Hashem, they stay merged within the oneness. We can't understand that. But at least the Moshel gives us a little taste. So that's what we just said here. Shehu v'harei dibur machshavasai, that his speech and thought kiviyachol miyuchados imoy betachlis hayichad, they are bound up and united absolutely within him. Derech Moshel. K'may dibur machshavasai shel ha'adam ba'odim b'koyach chochmasai v'sichloi, just like the dibur and the machshava is fused and bound up in your intelligence, or b'tshuka v'chemda shebeliboy, or in the desire that's in your heart. Koidem she'als me'alev lemoyach lahaher bo b'chinas oisius, before it goes up from the heart to the mind to turn it into letters. It means the mind is in the thinking mind now, not the intelligent mind. שאז היו אויסיוס המחשבה ודיבור הזה הנשחס מחמדה בתשוקה זו, that it's that these letters and this desire, sorry, שאז היו האויסיוס המחשבה, the thoughts of the מחשבה והדיבור, they are drawn from the tshuka, from the ratzon, and from the desire. בכוח זו, בכוח בלב מיוחד שם, סליחה, שאז היו אויסיס המחשבה והדיבור הזה הנמשכת מחמדה ותשוקה זו בכוח בלב המיוחד שם בתכלס הייחוד בשורשן, שהן החוכמה והשכל שבמוח והחמדה ותשוקה שבלב. So as we just said, that these letters that become the words and the letters of thinking and the words and letters of speech are drawn from the unified pool, which is you. I'm trying to think of a good mashal. Do you think of a mashal for that? The singular pool. I mean, really, the mashal that we've used many times is like white light. Within white light is all the frequencies of light. Yeah, all the different colors of light are within white light. That's why you've got your screen. If you were to smash open the screen that you're watching this on right now, yeah, there's to make it simple, there's two layers. There's the layers of the pixels, and then underneath the pixels, there's a massive white light. Like Lamaisa, if you could do it, yeah, you could take a knife, basically, depending if it's a regular LCD screen. Nowadays, a lot of them are LED screens, which is different a little bit. But an LCD screen, you could potentially peel off the pixels, and all there would be behind is a bright white light. Like for example, you've got a telephone, yeah, you've got a smartphone. If you look at that, look at the you've got the brightness adjustment. So what's happening there? Because the picture stays absolutely consistent, just it's either bright or it's very not bright. And if you turn it all the way down, you can hardly see it, but the picture's still exactly there as it is. You know what I'm talking about? May, you with me? Yeah. So all you're doing when you're adjusting the brightness on your iPhone is you are turning a dimmer switch on the white light behind the pixels. You understand? You understand that? That's pretty posh, yeah. So So you've got the white light below. You've got the white light below the. You've got the white light underneath the pixels. Within the white light is all of the colors of the rainbow. When you layer over the pixels act as filters and allow only a certain element of that light to come through, which is all the colored light. That's exactly the moshel. From the unification, from the complete unity comes all these colors. So with us, there's the unity of the human, and then from him comes all the speech, all the potential speech. Like you can't speak about something that you don't know about. Why not? I mean, it sounds like a funny question. Why can't you speak about something you don't know about? Because that would be an analogy. That would be that's not part of you. Like the analogy with the white light is like the white light can't express a color that isn't within it. It happens to be all the colors within it. So too, you can't talk about something that you don't know because it's not part of you. So you can only speak of what you know, which is who you are. Therefore, when we speak, all of our words, all of the letters, all of the words are just an expression, a manifestation of the unified oneness of who we are. Just like in Hashem. But the difference between Hashem and us is that when we speak, the words actually leave us. When Hashem speaks, it doesn't leave us, it stays merged within him in a oneness. Again, that doesn't make any sense to us. The only shinui, he's going to say it in a minute, the only difference is to the ones who receive the light. And that's the analogy for that is like the analogy of a Rebbe telling his Talmud a moshel. The Rebbe is trying to get a big idea into the smaller mind of his Talmud. So he has to enclose the idea in the garments of in foreign garments. That's called a moshel. Kolzman, the Rebbe, is giving over the moshel. The Rebbe is almost, so to speak, unaware of the actual vessels, the kalim that he's delivering the moshel in. He enclosed the idea in familiar in a familiar concept, a familiar concept to the Talmud. But to him, he's absolutely bound up and cognizant of the nimshul. So, for example, the example we've given many times is if a parent is trying to explain to a child the ramifications of speaking Lashon Hara, and he talks about going up to a mountain, going up to the top of a mountain with a big pillow full of feathers when on a windy day, and shaking out the feathers and watching the feathers just fly all away everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And you can't pick up the feathers; it's impossible. They're gone. They're out there. It's done. So the kid's got in his mind feathers and mountains and wind and v'chule v'chule. The parent has in his mind Lashon Hara, the effects of Lashon Hara, damage done that can't be undone, etc. So in the mind of the mumshil of the one giving the moshel, there is no moshel. You with me? There's just the nimshul. The moshel only exists to the child, to the smaller mind. But to the bigger mind, there is no, it dissolves, the feathers dissolve into the words. The fact that they're going all over the place dissolves into the fact that you can't bring back the words. The fact they get enmeshed with the grass dissolves into the broken the damaged reputations, etc., etc. So to the one giving over the moshel, to the one revealing himself, the garments with which he is revealing himself within dissolve and are no longer there. That's the moshel to understand this. So from Hashem's perspective, there is no creation, there's just Hashem. From our perspective, there is creation. And that's how the Rebbe explained this, the idea of the letters leaving us. Whereas from Hashem's perspective, the letters never leave him. B'kacha mamash derech moshel. Exactly the case according to the moshel. מיוחד אז דיבור המחשבה של הקדוש ברוך הוא בתכלס הייחוד במהוסו ועצמוסו יסברך. That the words and the thinking, the speech and thinking is completely bound up in his essence. Gam acher sheyotze dibur yisbrach, even after it comes out as dibur, elapoil, bebrias oilamas, and it creates the worlds. Kamoy shahaya meyuchad imoy koidem brias oilamas, just as it was before he spoke. So before I speak, I can only speak about what I know. Yeah, I can't talk to you about something that I don't know, because that's me. I'm made of the things I know. So Hashem spoke out what he knew, which was himself, which became manifest as this world. But to Hashem, it's as if it just remained as it was. There is no difference to him. There is no change to him. Ela buruim hamakablim chiyusam bechinas dibur yisbrach. Bechinas yitziasoi kava el hapoel bebrias oilamas. The difference is to the creations, the ones who are receiving this life force from his dibur, as it comes out into actuality from koach to poel, bebrias oilamas, into the creation of the worlds, shemis labesh bahem lachayoisam, to become enclosed within the worlds and to give them life. Alidei hishtaushles me'ilul ilul, from ilul alul, from the concept of cause and effect. Ilul alul does not mean cause and effect. Let me try and get to an edge here. 1 minute. Ilul alul. Hamadregas b'tzim sumim rabim. You read this madregas, it goes down through different madregas, b'tzim simim rabim, through lots of different constrictions. V'shoinim ad sheyoichlu abruim lekabel chiyusam v'hishavusam imenu v'leis batlubim mitziusam, until all the creatures and the creations of the world can receive their life force without being nullified. I'm going to leave Ilul Alu right now. Let's keep going. Let's try and finish the prayer. That's a whole thing in itself. All of these tzimsumim, what we call hestapanim, which means a revelation of the face, which really means a concealment, a holding back of the whole thing. That conceals and hides the light and the life that is drawn from his speech. So there shouldn't be a tremendous gilui, so that the tachtonim can't receive that. And it even comes out that it comes so far that it appears that the things of this world are something separate from him. And it appears just like a man speaks, and the speech becomes something separated from the man. That's how it appears, that this world is something separated from the world. However, from Hashem's perspective, there is no concealment bichlal from his perspective. Just like darkness is like light, that the darkness doesn't seal you. Why? Mishum she'ein tzimsumim v'halavushin davar nifrad memenu yizbrach, because the tzimsumim, the things that he uses to constrict and to contract his light are not something separate from him, yizbrach. It's like the shell of a turtle. The levushe minei ubay, that he is concealed within himself. Just like when you see your body, is your body you? Your body is concealing you, but it's revealing you. But it's in the moshel or in the nimshal we're talking about with the Shem, it's not made of something other than him. Let's finish off and we'll explain. Hashem hu Elokim. Hashem is Elokim. Okay, the power of Tzimtzum is Hashem himself. And nothing there, therefore there is nothing in front of him. And it's exactly the moshel, the most amazing moshel is the LCD screen. What we said before, you've got the white light, and then you've got the layer of pixels. Yeah. What makes the pixels go different colors? You know, you have the RGB. May you aware, you understand about RGB a little bit, yeah? You've got three they're called diodes. You've got three diodes. Every pixel is made of three diodes, yeah? RGB, red, green, blue. Okay, they have power of up to 255. So if they're all at 0, that is a black pixel. That's nothing. If they're all at 255, that is a white pixel. Okay, so now how many, just throw out a number, what you think, the first thing that comes to your mind. How many colors that you remember when it talks about with a computer? And you remember the number of colors that it mentions most frequently? May you remember?
Millions.
How many? You remember the number? But Erech,
Millions.
16 million, it says. Generally, 16 million. So watch this. 255 times 255 times 255 equals 16.5 million. That's what that's referring to, because you've got any combination of that 255 that would create any different color. So bear with me, one more step. So what's generating the color of the pixel? What changes that number, the 255, whether it's 0 or 255 or any number in between, is the amount of electricity being pushed through. So the electricity being pushed through determines the color of the pixel. And that determines what color is going to be allowed through from the white light in the background. What's generating the white light in the background? Also electricity. So you see, when you understand it's an amazing moshel. In the LCD moshel, you've got electricity concealing electricity. It's a moshel because you've got also physicality, whatever. But that's the idea. So from the perspective of electricity, you just have a white screen. That's the inyan from the Ribono Shel Olam, meaning that the power, the technique, so to speak, not the technique, the mechanism that Hashem Yisbarach uses to filter his self is himself. So from Hashem's perspective, there is no creation. And now just to finish off on a really funky little thing, you ever saw the picture of that in the ancient times there was, I can't remember who it was. One sec, maybe I can ask chatbot. Wait a minute, I will ask chatbot. One moment. What was the ancient civilization? Oh, it can't. It's one sec, because I'm using my microphone.
So from Hashem's perspective, there was no creation, but from creation's perspective, there's no Hashem.
No, chas v'shalom. From creation's perspective, there is creation and Hashem. From Hashem's perspective, there's just Hashem. What was the ancient civilization that said the world existed on the back of countless turtles? Turtles all the way down. It was
Egypt, obviously.
oh, it's mixed up with Hinduism, and it's like it's just basically an old. It wasn't a specific culture that said it, but there's this idea that our world exists on the back, stacked up on endless turtles, which sounds like one of these crazy, ancient ideas, but it's actually based in this concept. The image of the turtle is what the Tanya brings to describe the phenomena of someone being concealed by themselves. That the shell of the turtle is of the turtle. Okay, that is one of the hardest prakim in Tanya. There are some harder prakim, but that is definitely up there with the hardest. So shkoyach for sitting it out. I don't know how much that you got, but these ideas have to be go over again, 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 again. It might be worth to listen if you're interested to listen to the Inside Out classes that put all of these chapters together. Kaf, Aleph, and Kaf base. It put them all together and it explains the ideas outside. It's probably be it will probably be quite helpful now. Okay, shkoyach.